The front door splintered under the force of her father's rage, shards of wood flying like accusations as he dragged her into the blizzard-whipped night of their upstate New York farmhouse, her knees hitting the icy crust of snow with a crack that echoed her shattering world. By dawn, the town whispered of the girl who vanished, but Elena Harper never truly left. She just learned to bury her heart deeper than the frost. 28 years old now, Elena gripped the steering wheel of her rented Chevy, the engine's hum a low growl against the relentless sleet pounding the windshield as she crested the hill into Willow Creek, the same forgotten speck on the map where she'd first tasted forbidden longing. The dashboard clock blinked 2:17 a.m., February's bite seeping through the vents like an old grudge, and her hazel eyes, sharp as the switchblade she kept in the glove box, fixed on the distant glow of Harper Farm, its silhouette unchanged, a hulking beast of red barn and sagging porch lights that had devoured her youth. She hadn't planned to come back, not after a decade of carving out a life in Boston's shadowed alleys of academia and quiet rebellion, but Sophia's voice on the phone 3 nights ago, cracked, pleading, had uncoiled something feral inside her. "Your mother's dying, Elena. She asked for you. By name." The tires crunched over gravel as she pulled into the drive, the house looming like a judge in flannel and faded denim. Elena killed the engine, her breath fogging the glass, and for a moment, she saw it all again. 16-year-old her, pressed against the hayloft wall by Jamie's clumsy kiss, the thrill of soft lips and trembling hands exploding into terror when her mother's shadow fell across the doorway. Margaret Harper, with her iron-gray bun and Bible-clutched fists, had always preached fire and brimstone from the pulpit of their evangelical church, but that night, the sermon turned personal. "On your knees," she'd hissed, yanking Elena down into the storm, the snow soaking through her jeans as prayers for repentance turned to pleas for mercy that never came. Father stood by, silent as the grave, his pipe smoke curling like unspoken complicity. By morning, Elena was packed off to Aunt Lydia's in Syracuse, the family rift sealed tighter than the frost heave in the fields. She stepped out, boots sinking into the white blanket that muffled the world, her long dark waves tucked under a wool beanie, emerald coat buttoned against the wind that whispered ghosts of old sins. The porch light flickered on, a silhouette filling the frame, her brother Thomas, 32 and broad as the barn door, his face etched with the weariness of a man who'd inherited the farm and its burdens. "Ellie!" His voice cracked the night, half disbelief, half dread, as he pushed the screen door open. She nodded, throat tight, and crossed the threshold into the kitchen where the air hung heavy with liniment and regret. Thomas poured coffee black as midnight, sliding a mug across the scarred oak table without meeting her eyes. "She's upstairs. Hospice called it a week ago, cancer fast. Won't eat, barely speaks. But she said your name yesterday like it burned her." Elena's fingers wrapped around the ceramic, heat seeping into palms still raw from gripping lecture notes on social psychology at the university, where she taught undergrads about resilience in the face of systemic oppression. Irony tasted bitter. Here she was, the expert, unraveling at the seams. "And Dad?" she asked, voice steady by force of will. Thomas snorted, a sound like rusted hinges. "Past 5 years back. Heart attack in the South Field. Buried him next to Grandma. You would have got the card if you'd kept the address current." Guilt twisted like barbed wire in her gut, but she swallowed it down. This wasn't a homecoming. It was reconnaissance. Sophia had warned her. "Don't let them pull you under again, love. You're not that girl anymore." Sophia, 30, blonde waves and blue eyes that saw through walls, her editor's precision cutting through Elena's defenses like a well-placed argument. They'd met at a conference in Cambridge, 2 women navigating the minefield of tenure tracks and tentative touches. Their first date, a rainy walk along the Charles where confessions spilled easier than umbrellas. But even in Boston's progressive haze, shadows lingered. Elena's flinches at family mentions, Sophia's patient pauses when old wounds surfaced mid-sentence. Now, with Margaret fading, Elena had booked the first flight out, leaving Sophia to hold the fort with a promise. "I'll be back before you miss me." Liar, she thought, as Thomas led her up the creaking stairs. The bedroom door stuck, swollen from damp, and Thomas shoved it open with his shoulder. There lay Margaret, shrunken to bones under quilts stitched by hands that once wielded belts and guilt like weapons. Tubes snaked from her arms to beeping machines, her gray hair fanned like a surrender flag on the pillow. Elena's breath caught, a vice clamping her chest. This woman who had forced her into the snow, now fragile as cracked porcelain. Margaret's eyes fluttered open. milky blue locking onto Elena's with a clarity that pierced. "You came," she rasped, voice a gravel whisper. "Thought you'd stay gone. Like your sin." The word landed like a slap, but Elena held her ground, shedding her coat like armor. "I'm here now, Mom. That's what matters." Lies, all of it. She was here for closure, for the apology that might thaw the ice in her veins, for the chance to say aloud what she'd rehearsed in therapy sessions. "I am who I am, and your hate didn't change that." Thomas hovered in the doorway, shifting weight like he carried the weight of both worlds. "I'll be downstairs. Holler if." He trailed off, escaping into the hall. Margaret's hand twitched, beckoning, and Elena sat on the bed's edge, the mattress dipping under her. "Sophia's waiting in Boston," she said softly, testing the waters. "My partner. We've been together 4 years." Margaret's lip curled. A ghost of the fury that had defined her. Partner. Devil's word for it. "I prayed you'd find Jesus, not her." The monitors beeped faster, a frantic underscore to the standoff. Elena's pulse thrummed, memories flooding. Church potlucks where whispers followed her like smoke, high school lockers scrawled with slurs after Jamie's tearful confession to the youth pastor. She'd run then, built walls of books and bravado, but here in this room scented with decay, the walls crumbled. "You made me kneel for loving wrong, Mom. Froze me to the bone. But I survived. I thrived." Margaret's gaze sharpened, a spark of the old fire. "Thrived? Look at you, alone in that godless city teaching lies to kids. I saved you from hell." Elena's laugh was hollow, echoing off the wallpaper, peeling like old skin. "Saved me? You exiled me. Thomas got the farm, the family name. I got scraps and silence." The words hung, heavy as the snow piling outside, and Margaret's chest heaved, a cough rattling loose phlegm she couldn't clear. Elena reached for the tissues, dabbing mechanically, her touch clinical, detached, years of practice in compartmentalizing. But beneath it, a storm brewed. The girl who'd knelt, shivering, vowing never to bend again, now facing the architect of her pain, wondering if forgiveness was a chain or a key. Downstairs, Thomas paced the kitchen, phone pressed to his ear, voice low and urgent. "Yeah, she's here." Stirred up the hornets, as expected. On the other end, Pastor Ellis, 65, jowly, and as unyielding as the church steeple, clucked his tongue. "Good. Margaret needs the prodigal's return to set her soul right. But watch her, Tom. That lifestyle. It's a contagion." Thomas grunted agreement, though doubt gnawed at him. He'd seen Elena's emails over the years, glimpses of a life vibrant and unapologetic, worlds away from the farm's grind. Still, blood was blood, and the town's eyes were always watching. Upstairs, the confrontation simmered. Margaret gripped Elena's wrist, nails digging like accusations. "I did what a mother does, protected you from yourself. Your father. He wanted to send you away permanent, but I said no. Kneel and repent, I told him. It was mercy." Elena wrenched free, heat rising in her cheeks. "Mercy? I was a kid, Mom. 16. Confused, yes, but alive with feeling. You turned it to shame." The room spun with unsaid histories. The letters Elena burned unread, the holidays skipped, the ache of absence that Sophia had slowly filled with her steady presence. Now, with death's shadow long, Elena wondered if this was absolution or just another layer of frost. As dawn grayed the windows, Margaret drifted into fitful sleep, her snores ragged. Elena slipped downstairs, finding Thomas at the stove, frying eggs with mechanical precision. "She talk?" he asked, plating food she had no appetite for. Elena nodded, sliding into a chair. "Same old scripture. But there's more under it, fear maybe. Regret." Thomas paused, spatula hovering. "She's changing, Ellie. The pain strips you bare. Last week she asked about you unprompted. Said she dreamed of the snow. A beat of silence thick as porridge. You staying?" Elena sipped coffee gone cold, weighing the cost. Boston called, Sophia's texts lighting her phone like beacons. "Miss you already. Call when you land." But here, unfinished business clawed at her resolve. "For now," she said finally. "Till it's over." Thomas exhaled, relief warring with worry. Outside, the plow rumbled past, scraping away the night's accumulation. But Elena knew some drifts ran deeper, unyielding to any blade. Little did she know, the real storm was just awakening. pulling Sophia into its vortex and forcing choices that would fracture them all over again. The morning dragged into afternoon, Elena sorting through boxes in the attic, dusty relics of a life she'd fled. Yearbooks with Jamie's faded photo, a prayer journal filled with Margaret's meticulous script urging purity. Each page a punch, but Elena pressed on, her psychologist's mind cataloging the trauma's fingerprints. By evening, Sophia called, voice a lifeline across the miles. How is it? Elena leaned against a rafter, whispering details to avoid Thomas's ears downstairs. Heavy. But I need this, to see her end without the hate winning. Sophia's pause spoke volumes, her editor's ear catching the cracks. You're braver than you think, love. Just don't let them rewrite you. That night, as Elena lay on the lumpy guest bed, the house groaned under wind's assault, and sleep brought dreams of snow and soft hands, Sophia's, Jamie's, her own, entwined in a dance of what-ifs. She woke to Margaret's cry, a guttural wail that summoned Thomas running. In the room, Elena found her mother clutching a rosary, beads clicking like teeth in the cold. I saw her, Margaret gasped. The one you loved. Kneeling with you. God forgive us. Elena froze, heart hammering. Had the old woman glimpsed her secrets in delirium? Or worse, remembered? The line between confession and condemnation blurred. And as Thomas administered morphine, Elena slipped out, breath visible in the hall's chill, wondering if returning home meant thawing or simply freezing solid once more. 2 days blurred into a haze of bedside vigils and strained silences, the farm's rhythm dictating Elena's unease, chickens to feed at dawn, wood to chop by noon, Margaret's labored breaths punctuating the quiet like accusations unspoken. Thomas worked the field solo now, his absences leaving Elena to navigate the house's ghosts alone, each creak a reminder of the girl who'd once raced these halls, laughter-free until it wasn't. Sophia's daily calls anchored her, snippets of Boston life. Rainy commutes, a new manuscript deadline, painting normalcy over the chaos. When are you coming home? Sophia asked on the third evening, her voice laced with the fatigue of solo lectures and empty beds. Elena traced the quilt stitches, Margaret's handiwork from better days. Soon. She's holding on, stubborn as ever. But I feel unmoored. Truth was, cracks were forming. At church that Sunday, Thomas's insistence, a family duty Elena couldn't dodge without sparking war. The congregation's stares burned like brands. Pastor Ellis preached on prodigal sons and wayward daughters, his eyes lingering on her row, the wooden pew hard under her as whispers rippled. That's Margaret's girl, the one who. She bolted midway through the hymn, lungs burning in the vestibule, Thomas catching her arm outside. You can't just leave, Ellie. It's her comfort. She yanked free, hazel eyes flashing. Your comfort, you mean? I'm not here to play penitent. He deflated, shoulders slumping under flannel worn thin. It's the town, the talk. After Dad died, they circled like vultures. Your absence didn't help. Guilt gnawed anew, but Elena pushed it down, driving the back roads instead. Tires spinning mud as she chased the horizon. Willow Creek clung to its evangelical roots like burrs to wool. The local paper still running op-eds on traditional values, amid national headlines of marriage equality gains. She'd followed it all from afar, celebrating pride in Boston's throngs while nursing the ache of exclusion. Now immersed, the hypocrisy stung. Billboards for family farms, flanked by anti-LGBTQ hotlines. Neighbors who'd baked her cookies offering sidelong glances that said, "Welcome home, sinner." By dusk she returned, finding Margaret lucid, propped against pillows, a tray of uneaten broth cooling beside her. You went to service? The old woman asked, voice athread. Elena nodded curtly, pouring water. For you. Margaret's laugh dissolved into coughs, but her eyes held cunning. Liar. Saw you run. Like always. The barb hooked deep, drawing blood from wounds Elena thought scarred over. I'm not running now, she countered, sitting close. Tell me why, Mom. Why the snow? Was it fear, for me, or for your perfect Christian image? Margaret's fingers twisted the sheet, knuckles white. Both. Your father. He came from old money, Harper's with senators in the bloodline. Scandal would have ruined us. But deeper, it terrified me seeing you choose that path. Like losing you to darkness I couldn't fight. Elena leaned in, voice low. Darkness? Love isn't dark. It's the hate that freezes everything. The room thickened with the weight of half-truths, until Thomas burst in, face ashen. Phone for you, Ellie. Long distance. Heart leaping, she followed him down, snatching the receiver in the kitchen, Sophia's voice flooding the line. I booked a flight. Be there tomorrow. Can't let you face this alone. Relief washed over Elena. Mingled with dread. Sophia in this viper's nest? No, love. It's toxic here. Wait for me. But Sophia's tone brooked no argument, her editor's resolve unyielding. We're partners, remember? In all things. See you at the airport. Click. Elena hung up, staring at the rotary dial as if it had betrayed her, Thomas eyeing her curiously. Girlfriend. The word hung casual yet loaded. She met his gaze. Wife in every way that counts. He blinked, processing, then nodded slowly. Bring her for dinner then. Mom might need to see. Elena's laugh was sharp. Or judge. But beneath the bite, a flicker of hope, Thomas, the silent brother, extending an olive branch? As night fell, she lay awake, mind racing through scenarios. Sophia's warmth clashing with the cold, revelations spilling like spilled milk. Morning brought her at noon, stepping off the regional jet in a navy dress that hugged her curves, blonde waves catching the terminal's fluorescence, blue eyes scanning until they locked on Elena's. They embraced fiercely, airport bustle fading, Sophia's scent, lavender and ink, a balm against the chill. Missed you, she murmured into Elena's hair. The drive back was charged, hands linked over the console, Sophia's thumb tracing circles on Elena's knuckles. Tell me everything. Elena did, words tumbling as fields blurred by. The snow memory, Margaret's barbs, the church stairs. Sophia listened, her face a mask of empathy edged with steel. Sounds like a cult playbook. But you're not theirs to break. At the farm, Thomas waited on the porch, extending a calloused hand. Welcome. I'm Tom. Sophia shook it firmly, smile warm. Sophia Hale. Thanks for having me. Inside, Margaret's room felt smaller with them both, the air electric. Elena made introductions, voice steady. Mom, this is Sophia. My life. Margaret's eyes widened, flicking between them, then narrowing on Sophia's hand in Elena's. The one from the dream, she murmured, almost to herself. Sophia knelt by the bed, unflinching. Mrs. Harper, Elena's told me about you. About the strength it took to raise her here. Flattery or tactic? Elena couldn't tell, but Margaret softened fractionally, gesturing weakly. Sit. Tell me. How you met. What followed was a minefield navigated with care. Sophia spinning their Cambridge tale into something sanitized. Shared panels, late-night debates. Omitting the first kiss under street lamps, the way Elena's walls had tumbled. Margaret nodded along, but suspicion lurked, her questions probing. And your families? They approve. Sophia's smile didn't waver. They're learning. Love teaches patience. Dinner that night was a battlefield disguised as pot roast. Thomas at the head, Elena and Sophia side by side. Margaret wheeled down in a chair that creaked like judgment. Conversation skirted edges. Crops, weather, Sophia's books, until Margaret struck. You teach psychology, Elena says. Fix broken minds. Elena's fork paused midair. We study them, Mom. Understand, not fix. Margaret's gaze slid to Sophia. And you? Edit words. Rewrite sins. The table froze, Thomas coughing into his napkin. Sophia met it head-on, voice even. Words shape worlds, Mrs. Harper. Sometimes we rewrite to heal. Silence stretched, broken by Margaret's wheeze. Heal. That's what I tried with the snow. Elena's chair scraped back, pulse roaring. Tried? You succeeded in breaking me. Sophia's hand found hers under the table, a silent anchor, but the damage rippled. Thomas cleared his throat. Enough. It's family here. But was it? As plates cleared, Elena pulled Sophia aside in the mudroom, breath ragged. You shouldn't have come. It's poison. Sophia cupped her face, thumbs brushing tears Elena hadn't noticed. We're stronger together. Remember. Yet doubt seeded, the farm's isolation pressing in, and as they climbed to the guest room, Elena wondered if strength meant standing firm or fleeing fast. That night thunder rolled in, lightning etching the sky like veins, and Margaret's cries pierced the walls again. Elena and Sophia rushed in, finding her thrashing, rosary tangled. The girl, Jamie, she's here. Laughing at me. Delirium or memory? Elena soothed her, but Margaret clutched her arm. You loved her first. Did it hurt when she left? Shock rooted Elena. How much had her mother known all those years? Sophia watched, piecing it together, her embrace later fierce. Whatever ghosts she raises, we face them. But in the dark, Elena confessed the unconfessed. Jamie's betrayal, the high school rumor mill that drove her away, the scar that made trust a battlefield. Sophia held her through the sobs, but dawn brought Pastor Ellis to the door, Bible in hand, eyes on Sophia like a hawk on prey. Margaret sent for me. Time for last rites and truths. The reckoning had arrived uninvited, and Elena braced for the fallout, unaware how deeply it would cut. Pastor Ellis settled into the armchair like a king claiming his throne, his jowls quivering as he flipped open the worn leather Bible, the room shrinking under his presence while Margaret nodded faintly from her bed, a conspirator in flannel. Elena stood by the window, arms crossed over her emerald sweater, Sophia a quiet sentinel at her side, their linked fingers the only defiance in the charged air. "We've much to confess," Ellis intoned, voice booming off the walls, "before the Lord calls Margaret home. Sin's unrepented chain the soul." His eyes, small and shrewd behind wire rims, fixed on Elena. "Starting with you, child. The path you've wandered." Sophia's grip tightened, a warning or plea, but Elena stepped forward, chin lifted. "I'm not your child, Pastor. And my path's none of your sermon." Gasps rippled. Thomas in the doorway, Margaret's sharp intake, but Ellis pressed on undeterred. "Pride goeth before destruction. Your mother shared her burdens. The shame you brought, the choices that grieved her." Shame. The word ignited something primal, Elena's voice rising like the storm outside. "Shame? You mean love. For Jamie, for Sophia, for myself. You preached hellfire, but all I found was ice." Margaret stirred, whispering, "Listen to him, Elena. For me." But Elena whirled on her. "For you? After you sicked the town on me? Jamie's family shipped her to boarding school because of your whispers." The revelation hung, a bomb detonated, Thomas paling as pieces clicked. "What? Mom, you?" Margaret's eyes darted, evasion in their milky depths. "It was mercy for her soul. Like yours." Sophia, silent till now, interjected softly. "Mercy that destroys isn't mercy, Mrs. Harper. It's control." Ellis slammed the Bible shut, thunder punctuating his fury. "Blasphemy. This union of yours poisons all it touches. Leave my flock or face the fire." He rose, sweeping out, but not before casting a final glare at Sophia. "And you, outsider, tempt not the righteous." The door banged shut, leaving wreckage. Thomas fleeing to the barn, Margaret weeping dry tears, Elena trembling with rage and release. Sophia pulled her into the hall, arms enveloping. "You were magnificent. But this, it's escalating." Elena buried her face in Sophia's neck, inhaling stability. "I know. But walking away now, that's what they want. Surrender." They retreated to the kitchen, brewing tea with shaking hands, the steam curling like unanswered prayers. Thomas returned at dusk, face stormy, slamming his hat on the hook. He called a meeting, elders tonight. About protecting the flock from influences. Elena's stomach nodded. "Me. Us." Thomas nodded, conflicted. "And you staying, Ellie? Town's buzzing, saw your car at the airport, put two and two." Sophia set down her mug. "We're not hiding. But maybe we leave, let her pass in peace." "No." Elena's resolve hardened, forged in the snow's memory. "Peace? They stole mine. Time to claim it back." That evening, as sleet lashed the panes, she drafted a letter, not to Margaret, but to the Willow Creek Gazette. An open plea for compassion, weaving her story without venom, calling out the church's grip on fragile lives. Sophia edited it ruthlessly, sharpening edges while softening blows, her red pen a scalpel. "This could blow up," she warned, sealing the envelope. "Your job, the farm ties." Elena kissed her fiercely. "Worth it. For the girl I was, and the one still kneeling." They mailed it at the corner box, the postmark a point of no return. Night deepened the divides. Margaret rallied enough for a halting talk. Sophia excused to give space. "You hate me," the old woman said flatly, propped on pillows. Elena sat, exhaustion etching lines around her eyes. "Not hate. Hurt. You chose doctrine over daughter." Margaret's hand trembled toward hers. "I chose God. But in the quiet. I see the cost. Your father's silence killed him, slow guilt unspoken. Don't let it take you too. Tears welled unbidden. Then say it, Mom. That you were wrong. That my love's not sin. Silence stretched, broken only by the clock's tick. Finally, I tried. Forgive. It wasn't absolution but a crack in the ice, enough to let light seep. Elena squeezed her hand. Working on it. Downstairs, Sophia fielded a call from her sister in Chicago. News of a book deal. A distraction laced with concern. How's the Heartland Horror Show? Laughter bubbled, but worry shadowed Sophia's eyes when Elena joined her. Your mom's thawing. But the town's not. Indeed, by morning, the Gazette's early edition hit doorsteps. Elena's letter front page. Headlines screaming prodigal daughter challenges faith. Call for LGBTQ acceptance in Willow Creek. Chaos erupted. Calls flooding the house. Thomas fielding elders at the gate. Their voices a cacophony of condemnation. Harlot! One bellowed across the yard. Elena watched from the porch, Sophia at her back. A united front against the mob. Pastor Ellis arrived at noon, flanked by deacons demanding audience. Retract it or face excommunication for Margaret too. Elena met him at the door, voice steel. Excommunicate a dying woman? That's your mercy. He faltered, bluster cracking. The church must stand pure. Sophia stepped up, phone recording discreetly. Purity built on pain? Publish that, Pastor. He retreated, sputtering, but the seed was sown. Cracks in the facade, whispers of doubt among the faithful. That afternoon Jamie called. Number traced from old yearbooks, a ghost digitized. Saw the letter. God, Elena, I never knew. About the snow. Her voice, matured but familiar, cracked with shared scars. I'm in Albany now, married to a woman. Therapy helped. You. Relief flooded, mingled with ache. Surviving. With Sophia. They talked hours, bridges mending over miles, Jamie's absolution a bomb. You didn't break me. They did. Hanging up, Elena found Sophia in the barn, tending a lame foal, her dress muddied, blonde hair tied back. Old flame, she teased gently. Elena pulled her close, hey prickling. Old lesson. You're mine now, and always. Their kiss was fierce, acclaim amid the storm, but interruption came swift. Thomas bursting in, face grim. Mom's crashing. Doctors say hours, maybe. Rushing back, they found Margaret lucid, demanding all present. The four of us, she rasped, eyeing Sophia and Thomas. My failures. Words spilled then, a torrent of regret. The snow is panic, not piety. The whispers to Jamie's kin born of terror for her own. I built walls to keep God in but locked you out. Elena knelt. Not in snow but on carpet, taking her hand. We tear them down together. Thomas wept openly, Sophia's arm around him. The room a fragile circle of mending. But as night fell, monitors wailed, nurses swarming, and Margaret slipped away with a final whisper. Love wins. Her eyes closed, peace etching her face, leaving Elena hollowed, victory bittersweet. Funeral loomed, the town a tinderbox, Elena's letter fueling debates in diners and pews. Sophia booked flights home, but Elena lingered, sorting affairs with Thomas, their bond tentative but real. Stay a while? He asked, handing her farm keys. She hesitated, Boston's pull warring with Ruth's tug. Maybe Summers. Whispers of support trickled in, an elder's note, a neighbor's pie ripples from her stand. Yet betrayal brewed unseen. Pastor Ellis, cornered, leaked old rumors to the Gazette, twisting Elena's youth into scandal, headlines shifting. Harper airs hidden hypocrisy? Doubt crept, trust fracturing, and as Sophia prepared to leave alone. Go mend your world, I'll hold ours. Elena felt the ground shift, the price of truth demanding more than she'd bargained. The funeral procession snaked through Willow Creek like a serpent shedding skin, black umbrellas blooming against the drizzle that followed Margaret's burial. The graveside service a tightrope walk over simmering hostilities. Elena stood graveside in a charcoal dress, Sophia's hand a ghost at her elbow, flown back to Boston for a deadline, her absence a void filled by Thomas's awkward solidarity and the town's veiled barbs. Pastor Ellis eulogized with selective grace, painting Margaret as martyr to faith, glossing her final confessions, his gaze sliding to Elena like a veiled threat. She fought for righteousness till the end. He intoned, mourners murmuring amen, but Elena caught the undercurrent. Nods toward her, whispers of the letter's agitation. As dirt pattered on the casket, she scattered lilies, their petals stark white against the mud. A silent vow. Your end isn't mine. Back at the house for the reception, potluck piety in the barn, tensions coiled tighter. Neighbors offered condolences laced with judgment. Margaret was so strong despite challenges. An elder's wife cornered Elena by the punch bowl. That piece in the paper bold but hurtful. Think of the children. Elena's smile was razor-thin. Children learn from truth, Mrs. Klein. Not silence. Thomas hovered, deflecting with pie slices, but exhaustion etched his face. The farm's ledger redder than ever post-harvest woes. They'll come around, he muttered, but doubt shadowed his words. By evening, as stragglers departed, a knock echoed, Jamie in person, rain-slicked coat and tentative smile, her dark curls shorter now, arm linked with a redhead named Clara. Couldn't miss this. For old times. They talked on the porch, rain drumming the tin roof. Clara a buffer of normalcy with her therapist's calm. Jamie shared her path, reparative therapy dodged. A life rebuilt in Albany's arts scene. Marriage to Clara a quiet triumph. Your letter. It hit home. Sparked my own post. Elena's throat tightened. You got out first. Taught me how. Laughter mingled with tears but undercurrent pulled. Heard the new article. Ellis twisting knives. Elena nodded, fury simmering. Retaliation. Painting me as the villain who broke Mom. Jamie's eyes hardened. Fight it. Or it'll bury you like the snow did. They parted with hugs, promises of visits, but as taillights faded, Elena felt the isolation deepen. Thomas inside nursing a beer. The house echoing with absence. Sophia called at midnight, voice crackling over static. How was it? Elena paced the kitchen, phone cord twisting like veins. Surreal. Mom's gone but the war's on. New hit piece. Says I fabricated the snow to smear the church. Sophia's intake was sharp. Bastards. Want me to fly back? I can edit a response, go nuclear. Temptation tugged but Elena demurred. Handle the farm stuff first. Thomas needs me. Lie half at least. Truth was fear. Of leaning too hard, of Sophia seeing the fractures, of the life they'd built cracking under rural gravity. Love you, Sophia said soft. Come home soon. Elena echoed it but sleep evaded. Dreams of kneeling figures in white drifts. Margaret's face morphing to her own. Days bled into weeks, Elena ensconced in paperwork. Will readings revealing Margaret's bequest. The farmhouse attic to her a symbolic gesture or trap. Thomas urged sale. Cash out, start fresh. But sentiment clung, the space holding journal she'd unearthed, pages of Margaret's doubts scrawled in margins. Lord, forgive my fear as I forgive hers? Revelations stacked like cordwood, softening Elena's edges, but the town's backlash mounted. Grocery runs met cold shoulders, the Gazette running letters decrying her agenda. One anonymous screed outing Jamie's visit as recruitment. Thomas confronted her one dawn over coffee. They're boycotting the stand, milk rotting in jugs. This you're doing. Elena recoiled. Mine? It's their hate, Tom. Bouncing back. He slammed his mug down, coffee sloshing. Hate? You're the one dredging graves. The betrayal stung, sibling rift reopening. Thomas storming out to fields that yielded no mercy. Alone, Elena drove to the church uninvited, slipping into the empty sanctuary where sunlight shafted through stained glass. Reds and blues pooling like blood and bruises. She sat in her old pew, fingers tracing the wood's grooves, initials carved in rebellion. Pastor Ellis found her there, entering with deliberate steps. Come to repent? His tone dripped false benevolence. Elena rose, unflinching. To warn. Keep twisting my story, and I'll tell yours. The calls to Jamie's folks, the concerned letters that drove her away. His face blanched, then reddened. Lies. I guided souls. But fear flickered and Elena pressed. Guide better. Or the whole county hears how your guidance breaks families. She left him sputtering, power shifting subtly, but victory soured en route home. Voicemail from Boston University. Colleague concerns over your personal publicity. Review pending. The letters cost, professional now, tendrils reaching far. Panicked, she called Sophia, voice breaking. They're coming for my job. Because I spoke truth. Sophia's response was fierce. Then fight smarter. I'm booking a ticket. We're suing for defamation if needed. Sophia arrived whirlwind-style, suitcases and legal pads, her presence a fortification as they huddled in the attic, poring over Margaret's journals for leverage, entries detailing Ellis's visits. Hints of coercion in confessions. This could expose him, Sophia said, highlighter slashing yellow. But intimacy strained under pressure. Nights brought arguments. Elena's withdrawal clashing with Sophia's push for action. You're shutting me out, Sophia accused one evening, after Elena snapped over a misplaced file. Like they did you? Elena whirled, hazel eyes stormy. You don't get it, this is my blood, my bones. You can leave. The words landed like blows, Sophia recoiling. Is that what you want? Silence screamed, Elena crumbling into apologies, but seed of doubt sprouted. Could love survive such soil? Town hall meeting loomed, Ellis rallying for a values resolution banning divisive influences. Code for her. Elena and Sophia prepared, allies emerging. Jamie's post gone viral locally. A young deacon's wife confessing her own hidden bisexuality over coffee, tearful. Your courage. The web widened, but betrayal struck close. Thomas, cornered by elders, leaked attic photos to the paper. Elena with Jamie, teens arm in arm, captioned roots of rebellion. Devastation hit like blizzard wind. Confrontation in the barn, Elena hurling accusations. How could you? After everything. Thomas hung head. They threatened foreclosure. I panicked. Forgiveness frayed, family fracturing further. Elena fleeing to Sophia's arms, sobbing. We're poison here. Sophia held her resolute. Or antidote. We go to the meeting, own it all. The night arrived electric, hall packed. Murmurs hushing as they entered hand in hand. Ellis at podium motioning vote on the resolution, but Elena rose, voice carrying. Before you vote fear, hear truth. She spoke unscripted, snow's chill, love's warmth, Margaret's late grace. Sophia nodding beside her. Gasps, then claps scattered, the motion failing narrowly amid chaos. Ellis fled stage, defeated, but as they exited, a brick through the truck window shattered glass, and complacency. They're not done, Sophia whispered, shards crunching underfoot. Elena nodded, resolve hardening. Neither are we. Yet in the rearview doubt loomed. How much more could they pay before breaking? Vandalism escalated like a fever, the farm's mailbox smashed, tires slashed on Thomas's truck, anonymous notes stuffed under doors. Leave or burn. Elena barricaded windows with plywood, Sophia coordinating with Albany lawyers over crackling lines, her blue eyes shadowed by sleepless strategy sessions. Thomas, contrite, bunked in the main house, mending fences literal and figurative. Apologies over late-night whiskeys, revelations of his own. A college flirtation with a roommate, buried under duty and doctrine. I envied your escape, he admitted, voice rough. Stayed to atone for us both. Elena forgave haltingly, hugs tentative, but the gesture knit threads. A fragile alliance against the siege. Media sniffed blood. Regional news crews at the gate, microphones thrusting. Hate crime or hoax? Elena's soundbites cut sharp. Truth's the real threat here. Sophia thrived in the fray, her editor's mind plotting counter-narratives. A blog series co-authored, Elena's voice amplified through Jamie's networks, stories pouring in from shadows. Queer kids in Bible belts, mothers regretting snows of their own. Momentum built but toll mounted. Elena's tenure review postponed indefinitely. Boston colleagues distant in emails, whispers of distraction. Nights she paced, doubts voicing. Am I selfish? Dragging you into this? Sophia pulled her down, kisses soft anchors. Selfish would be silent. We're rewriting the script. Intimacy deepened in adversity, touches lingering but unspoken loomed. Sophia's job offer from a Chicago publisher. Urban escape tempting. Consider it. She broached one dawn, coffee steaming. Elena's heart clenched. Leave you? Never. But the farm. Resolution brewed at county level. Investigation into Ellis's guidance. Depositions peeling layers. Coerced testimonies, shamed congregants. He resigned in disgrace, pulpit empty. The church splintering into progressive offshoots. Willow Creek exhaled, boycotts lifting. Thomas's stand bustling anew with tentative customers. But personal price pressed. Elena's university called probation. Neutrality required. Fury boiled. She tendered resignation, voice steady over speakerphone, Sophia beaming pride. To what? The dean asked. Activism. Real change. Freedom tasted sharp, terrifying, but Sophia's arms enveloped. We'll land on our feet. Together. Months later, summer softened the fields, Elena and Thomas co-managing the farm part-time. Her attic studio a writer's retreat for queer memoirs, Sophia commuting from their Boston brownstone. Visits bridged worlds, dinners where Thomas met Clara. Awkward laughs thawing ice. Yet scars lingered. Elena's flinches at church vans, Sophia's guarded optimism. One golden evening, porch swing creaking, they sipped wine, Sophia's head on Elena's shoulder. Worth it? Elena asked, tracing her lover's knuckles. Sophia smiled, slow and sure. Every frostbitten step. But in quiet moments, Elena revisited Margaret's grave, weeds tugged, whispering, "You almost broke me. But love, it endures." The cold gift? Elena's return, not with vengeance but volumes, her book, Kneeling No More, dedicated to Margaret. For the woman who taught me the cost of silence and the grace in speaking. Launch in Willow Creek drew crowds, reconciliations tentative, debates raging in after-parties. Thomas read aloud, voice cracking. Jamie toasted, Clara filming for posterity. Sophia watched Elena shine, heart swelling, but as confetti fell, a letter arrived. Anonymous, Ellis's script. You win. But hell awaits. Dismissed to ash, but it lingered, a final barb. Years folded forward, Elena lecturing nationwide, Sophia's novels weaving their story into fiction. A life of choices paid in full. Betrayals mended. Hurts honored, awakenings shared. Thomas found love in a widower from town. Farm thriving under dual stewardship. But in Boston's bustle, Elena sometimes knelt. Not in snow but memory, thanking the girl who rose. Their bond, tested in blizzards, bloomed resilient. A testament to decision's double edges. Was Elena right to return and shatter the silence? Or should she have let the snow bury the past forever?